This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray. And welcome once again, Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti, as we get a chance right away to go to the phones and talk with our first guest. He is the head coach of the Cheyenne Central Indians as they made it to the Final Four, one step away from getting to the Promised Land, 7-4 on the season. And we get a chance now to talk with head coach Mike Apodaca. Coach, first off, congratulations on a good season for the Central Indians. Again, some... I don't want to use the word craziness, but some tough times for the Indians this season with a couple of key injuries. But other than that, you got to be very proud of the way your football program played throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, without a doubt. And to those injuries, definitely within 20 years of being a head coach, I've never thankfully had been to the hospital before this year with the kid, and unfortunately we had to go twice this year. And both kids are on the mend and doing good things. So, nothing that will be life-changing for them per se, which is great news. But, yeah, even that in of itself, showed a lot of resiliency with our team that I just thought really defined them throughout the year and a real productive season for them.
I go back to the Indians season, and again, you opened up at Sheridan. You had a home loss against Natrona, but the season turned around, and I think you'll agree with me, at Thunder Basin. And again, with Trent Pakula's team, they're one of those reload teams, but this year they had to fill some gaps, and you could see sometimes the inexperience by the Thunder Basin Bulls, but the bottom line is, for your Indians football program, that's when the season turned around, and you knew good things were going to happen for Cheyenne Central.
Yeah, I agree. Up until that point, I think we're still really trying to kind of find ourselves. We're in two really competitive games against two good teams, but just didn't quite have it to turn it around. But I thought the second half of the Thunder Basin game is where our group really came together and really started trusting each other and playing at the level we thought they were capable of. And then getting that win, I think, definitely parlayed us with a lot of confidence for the remainder of the year.
Coach, looking back on this season again, as we mentioned again, one of the Final Four teams had to travel up to Sheridan. Again, Sheridan Bronx, you're at least defending 4A state champs once again here in 2022. But looking back on the season, Coach, especially with, as we talk about reloading and rebuilding, Central was kind of in that mode again, lost a lot of veteran talent, again, to graduation. Did this season meet your expectations, Coach, surpass it? What were your thoughts as you look back here this past season?
I would definitely say met and lean towards maybe surpass. That we knew we had a good group coming in, but we did have some holes to fill and some young guys that had to do it, and still trying to find an identity. I guess is the way I'd put it. We knew you had Keegan coming into it and what he could do in the run game, but he needed to be surrounded by some other kids. I thought kids like Mason Counter and Richard Prescott, Jackson Whitworth, Ethan Reisdorfer, on the skill side of things, really stepped up and made us a little bit more dynamic. And then the one area that, I wasn't surprised by, but was just, extremely excited about their finish was our O-line. We brought back a lot, but, that's really what dictates it. And we had 4 seniors start up there and just did a phenomenal job. So I really think we probably, met to exceeded expectations, throughout the year.
You look back on the Sheridan contest week 0, and of course you had them in the semifinal round. Of course, we saw them this past Saturday against Cheyenne East, and again, you got to see Colson Kuhn, way too much of Colson Kuhn up close and personal, and again, an exceptional football player over at Sheridan, and your thoughts on him against your squad especially, but again, what I saw against Cheyenne East, low to the ground, always tough to tackle. Again, it's almost like, kind of reminds you of a smaller version of Franco Harris. He's just so powerful, but boy, every time you think you got him, he slips away.
Yeah, I think the thing that really sticks out to me when you play him, and especially when you play him late in the season, which unfortunately we've had to do a couple of times, he's got a different level of energy, kind of take over itness when it really matters, and I think purposefully, Coach Maury, kind of spreads the load throughout the year, keep it off him a little bit. But even that, when he was ever in a tough game, whether it be through us. I think he had 30-plus carries in the first game against us, which is kind of unheard of for him, and I'm sure against East the first time. It was kind of like, hey, we're gonna see what else we can do, but when it's time to get things done, we're gonna put the ball in his hands. And to see a kid like that do it regularly and consistently, and it's impressive. Honestly, all you can really do is tip your hat to the kid and just wish him luck moving forward and be thankful you don't have to see him again.
You mentioned names like Richard Prescott and Jackson Whitworth, Keegan Bartlett, and again, 4 of those seniors that were on the offensive line, and again, go flip it over on the defensive side. I know it's, a week removed from the season. I'm sure you already got the depth chart posted on the chalkboard. Let's talk about the Indians of 2023, because, again, you do have some really talented football players coming back, and you got some holes to fill, but, junior varsity experience, those that did get some playing time. You look at the Indians right now, first thing you say, okay, football, quarterback, and again, too, do we see a different possibility look at the quarterback position where it's going to be smaller than Keegan Bartlett, where we might see a little more RPO out of the Indians?
Keegan will be a tough kid to replace, no doubt. And, in my time as a head coach, I don't think I've ever had a quarterback like him, but just the pure size of him and the physicalness of him was unique. And, again, in 2 years with us, he was, rushed for over 1,000 each year and threw for over 1,500 yards, I believe, each year. And that's just a unique skill set that's hard to replace. So I don't think we try to replace him. What I think we try to do is fit the system to the guys we have. I do think some of the stuff we're doing, late in the year is going to be complementary to some of the kids we have in the stable. Miles Porwell is a kid that has been a quarterback in and out of the program. That's just a really dynamic athlete. May not be prototypical in size per se, but he's just that kid that has those intangible qualities of leadership and competitiveness that you're going to be in good hands if things roll that way. We've got a couple other kids that play JV that I think bring a skill set that is exciting. And so again, we won't try to replace him because I don't think you can, but we've just got to find a guy that can fit the dynamic of the rest of the team.
Coach, as we look towards the offseason and prepare for the 2023, at least Indians team, what does the offseason look for those returners, again, including starters, again, JV members? Are we looking hitting weights hard immediately, pushing them for those who might not be multi-sport athletes to get involved with multi-sports? What's kind of the offseason looking like for your team to prepare them and get them ready for next year?
Well, our number one thing is the more multi-sport athletes we have, the better off we are as a program and better off we are as a school. So we are big proponents of kids being multi-sports, and even if they may not be the star in the sport, but just kind of getting yourself away from the, I definitely, a year-round football player doesn't happen in terms of, obviously you can't play football year-round, but, I think getting that competitive nature of basketball and wrestling and swimming, shows on the football field as well. So we definitely, try to encourage our kids to play other sports. And at the same time, some kids got to have jobs and are just, their bodies are beat up, and so they choose not to. And those kids, we spend a lot of time, obviously, in the weight room. And so with our multi-sport athletes, between our classes in school, early morning weights, after school weights, we really try to provide them with an opportunity to get in the weight room at least 4 days a week. And that started last week, as soon as kids turned their equipment and they were directed that way. So it really is a year-round process, and the kids that own and embrace it are usually the ones that have the most success.
You look at, and I'm glad you mentioned Miles Porwell, because Miles, to me, will kind of remind me of when you had Cummings at the quarterback position, a little smaller, but a little more mobile and active. And then I look at a kid like Chase Talich. If he has another growth spurt again, all you got to do is just lob it up to him and just catch him down the seam. But you overall look at the positions that you got to fill, and you had some really good runners this year with Zeka. I know Jackson again went through the injury process, but the Indians could be that balanced attack next season. Again, long as we can get the football down the field.
I think we do have some real promising kids. Mason Counter had a phenomenal year and is just about as tough a running back as there is in the state. He missed a couple of games mid-year towards the season. I really expect that he could be a 1,000-yard back type of guy next year. And again, Miles, I think just his command of what we do, you'll see. And then we do have a lot of young, tall, lengthy receivers. Chase being one of those. Some other kids, Nate Brensley, the sophomore kid that I think will start making a name for himself. James Franklin, actually a freshman kid, is probably as good a freshman receiver as we've had in the program. So I think we'll be in good hands that way. Offensive line-wise, I think we've got some real potential. I think it's going to be a growth period for us, but I do think the kids that are there, I don't feel like there's going to be a drop-off in terms of talent. I just think experience is going to come. And then, defensively, bring the D-Hoffs back, and those two kind of anchor that defensive backfield, and they're just great communicators. Hayden Fleming and Colton Prindle are two, as big as D tackles as you're going to see in the 4A ranks that are coming back. And, so I think that the stable is definitely not empty, and it's hopefully what that group learned is the things that or carry over is the thing that they learned this year about, winning culture, a winning mentality, the work that's got to put in to get yourself in there. And that's what's exciting because they were a big part of that. And those two classes, primarily this year's seniors and juniors, are just a really tight group. And I expect this junior class to carry those things on. And, they've had a ton of success. They went undefeated as freshmen and I think as sophomores at the JV rank. So, there's not a lot of them, but they're a competitive group that knows how to win. So we're excited about, what they'll bring to the table.
Coach, as we look to 2023, and again, for East, Sheridan, again, a lot of the teams that were in the playoffs, again, those top dog teams are going to get hit hard by graduation again throughout Class 4A. In my opinion, Coach, and I want to get your opinion on this, is Class 4A for next season, especially for Cheyenne Central, seems like it's up for grabs to get that 1-2 seed potentially into the playoffs. That, again, these teams like East and Sheridan, they're going to lose some talent. Yes, they do reload, but do you have that sense of a feeling, Coach, that for Cheyenne Central's sake in 2023, you have a good shot if things go your way? 1-2 seed is not an improbability for next year's playoffs.
No, I think we've got a good group of kids to start the conversation with. So much work has got to be done between now and next August or September that, it's obviously really far out. But I do like the group of kids we have. We lose a very talented, group as well. But I think in a lot of key spots we're bringing guys that played this year, and the reality of it is I think we're bringing guys that, were some JV kids that, are going to start being able to step into time. And I know those other programs are going to, like you guys said, reload and bring it. But there were some dynamic players this year. Obviously, Colton leads the pack, but, you throw out, Keegan in there, Garrett Slab, the LaFombrosi kid at Thunder. There were some big-time dynamic athletes in the ranks this year. The Powell kid from Natrona was a big, strong kid you had to deal with. So there were some pretty big losses in that senior class for sure, and now it's time for that next group to kind of step up.
Mike, and we're talking with Mike Apodaca, head coach of the Central Indians, and Nick said a key word, and I'm going to get to that. In your time that you were hired on as the Central Indians football coach, building the program up, getting, again, working with the triad over at McCormick, and Nick used the word reload. Do you feel comfortable with me saying that the Indians are in that conversation now, that we just are reloading, not rebuilding every year?
You know what? I definitely feel that, next year moving forward and looking at our younger classes in the triad, I do think that we're starting to create a culture of, wanting to play and getting, the top end athletes, out of McCormick and those sorts of things. So yeah, and I guess that's the expectation for it. Obviously nobody's going to win a state championship every year, but we do feel like that, our goal is to make sure we're competitive game in and game out, and that we have a chance, to win a quarterfinal game, every year is really the goal. Because I think once you do that, you get into a semifinal game, then, now it's, you got to have the guys. I go back to, Colson, is that, you just have a guy that knows how to take over, and that's what you establish. So, yeah, I'd like to believe that our program is strong, our numbers are good, and I believe after a good year this year that excitement's only going to build.
Mike, I want to thank you so much. Always enjoyable working with you. And again, congratulations to the Indians. Again, 7-4 on the season. And again, a lot of excitement with that Central Indians football program. Looking to see you near the top once again coming up next season.
Thanks, Nick and Larry, for everything you guys do for everybody in this community. You guys do a great job and represent the town well, so I appreciate you guys.
Mike Apodaca, head coach of the Cheyenne Central Indians, joining us here on the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. Hey, let's pay some bills. We'll be right back with more here on 1480 K-Ray.
Message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
For almost 60 years, 1480 K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM, and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proietti at 307-637-0301.
Your local hometown bank, First Year Bank, invites you to come celebrate the first anniversary of their downtown branch at 18th and Cary. And during the anniversary celebration, come to either branch at 1508 Stillwater Avenue or downtown and enjoy some coffee and cookies. First Year Bank is still offering the best CD rates around on a wide variety of CD products. So talk with Caitlin, Amy, and Lavana today. And for all your commercial lending needs, let Tim, Tad, Stacy, and Spencer hook you up to suit your business needs. First Year Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. And now celebrating their second branch's 1-year anniversary at 18th and Cary. We want to be your bank. Member FDIC. Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. It's your one-stop to shop for these Super Radio buys heard only right here. Tequila Rose Cream Liqueur, 750 milliliter bottle, $16.49. Bud Light Seltzers, all available varieties. 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, $15.99. And Jose Cuervo Especial Tequila, gold or silver, 750 milliliter bottle, $16.49. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Well, the wise for today, mostly sunny and blustery. Look for a daytime high near 30. Winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30. Mostly clear and blustery for tonight with a low down to 14 degrees. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly sunny. We're looking for a daytime high near 34, breezy conditions. Northwesterly winds at 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35. And we welcome you back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again to Mike Apodaca, head coach of the Central Indians, who also joined us on our pregame show when we had just a little bit of time because the Pine Bluffs Shoshone game went a little long, and they pretty much wanted to kick things off right at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So we had Mike on talking about the game and again talking about what to expect from Sheridan, but taking a look ahead towards the 2023 season. And again, let's size it up here real quick, Nick, before we talk about the Pine Bluffs victory. Central looks pretty good for next season. East is going to look real good. Again, you have your quarterback Cam Hayes coming back.
East is losing a lot of offensive weapons, though.
Yeah, but you got your main quarterback. You got Nathan Merritt coming back. He really stepped up over there in Laramie as well. You got some defensive stars, and a lot of these guys go both ways as well. Cheyenne South, hopefully we will see some more bodies come on out for football under Eli Moody.
South loses a few starters, again, due to graduation, but hopefully, again, again, for Cheyenne South's sake, again, don't anticipate them to, again, take the world over, again, be that surprise team in Class 4A in 2023. Again, hopefully in 2023, that team can pull off, at least in the losing streak, and pick up their first victory. That is kind of the expectation or goal right now for Cheyenne South. But again, as we talk with Coach Eli Moody, again, it's nothing that's going to at least be a change overnight, that it's going to take some time. And I think year 2 for Coach Moody is, again, there's nowhere but up right now, and hopefully, again, they can get at least in the losing streak and build off of that, some positive momentum, and hopefully, again, he can at least reach over to Johnson and throughout those, again, hallways there at Cheyenne South to recruit more numbers out there, and I think that's plain and simple right now, is that's the focus for Cheyenne South, is getting athletes out there, improving the numbers for Cheyenne South, and focusing on ending that losing streak.
All right, let's talk about. We did get a chance. We were 1 out of 2 this past Saturday over in Laramie, as we had a chance to call both games. The Hornets defeating Shoshone in an exciting finish.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. 53 seconds left to go in the game, and Dalton Schaefer scoring on the 13-yard touchdown run, where you thought he was going to be down right around the 6-5 yard line, and the next thing you know, he squirts on through for the score, and then it was just a matter of shutting down those Wranglers, and again, an exciting win for the Hornets, which capped off their last 2 games, especially against Rocky Mountain and Shoshone, to give them the state championship and the perfect season. But
and I think
a couple exciting finishes.
And I think going back to that semifinal matchup with Rocky Mountain for Pine Bluffs, again, that proved to be beneficial, where, again, we talked with Coach Gray, and we were hoping to have him on today. Again, unfortunately, he's dealing with a state luncheon. We'll have him on next week's show. But, again, Coach Gray, as we were preparing for the state title game, basically said, hey, Shoshone had it easy-ish in their semifinal matchup. We got contested against Rocky Mountain, and basically said hey, I'll take that contested contest, so we're ready. Again, we played that full 48 minutes. We're raring to go against Shoshone, and again, they were. And just like that, again, Pine Bluffs are your Class 1A 9-man champions here in 2022. Again, first title since 2017, third for head coach Will Gray. So, again, in good hands right now, the Hornets program, even though, as we talk graduation, they also, too, get hit pretty hard, especially losing her star quarterback. It's a situation that for the Pine Bluffs Hornets, they are a program, even with graduation, they're one of those programs here in Southeast Wyoming that, again, reloads, doesn't rebuild.
Yeah, most definitely. And again, the reputation is going to follow Pine Bluffs, especially into next season. And again, too, we saw Stu's brother as the backup quarterback. So, again, another Lork will be possibly running that offense next season. I do want to mention, though, in addition to Dalton Schaefer and the hard charger that he was for Pine Bluffs, you also tip your cap to Peyton Trumpler of the Shoshone Wranglers. Matter of fact, 176 total yards, so that put him just a hair under 2,100 total yards in 11 games this season for the Wranglers, so that is some serious running. But I want to go back to Dalton Schaefer's performance, which was excellent. Started the game, 61-yard touchdown run, going off tackle and down the sidelines, he was gone. But also, too, Taylor Beacon, who was battling, injury throughout the course of the year, but he came in and really, really got some serious yards when the Hornets really needed it. And I thought those two in the backfield really propelled the Hornets.
Yeah, to compliment it, but again, give at least hats off compliment to, again, Dalton Schaefer, again, immediately setting the tone in that ball game. Again, the first play, offensive play for the Pine Bluffs Hornets. Again, we already got 6 points on the board. So, again, you just had that feeling that this game, again, this team of destiny to run the table got it done. And, again, so far against Shoshone, where, again, you got a nice little rivalry right now, so to speak, between the Wranglers and the Hornets, where, again, for right now, the Hornets, they're 3-0, including postseason play, where Shoshone, trying to get that monkey off their back, still can't get it done against Pine Bluff. So at least getting that success. But again, some good battles between these two programs here in Class 1A 9-man. But, again, as Stu Lorick, again, had his issues. It seemed like offensive line had a little issues. Again, we saw Stu Lorick, again, kind of running around, getting out of the pocket a couple of times, kind of getting flustered in that backfield. Dalton Schaefer, though, again, as you mentioned, again, Beacon as well for the Hornets. Again, nice compliments for him on the ground, getting those kind of hard-nosed yards for the Hornets to pick up those first downs. And, again, it was a just hard-fought battle as we anticipated. We thought this was going to be a close contest. It was, and it came down to the wire. Pine Bluff, so, again, runs the table and, again, picks up the state championship.
It's interesting to note in that game because we didn't know it up in the press box at the time. We found out after. Abe Serrano, who also is their place kicker, broke his collarbone in that game and still went out there and played.
Yeah.
But again, we were kind of questioning, well, he kicked the one extra point, then we saw the freshman Freebuck come in and miss on the extra point. We did not realize how much, and again, too, you kind of play through the pain. You got all, as they say, you got all winter to heal up. But the kid has a broken collarbone, and he's still out there playing football. Matter of fact, we saw Schaefer doing the kicking off a couple times for the Hornets. But, again, I tip my cap to a young man like Abe Serrano playing through the injury.
Well, again, for the state title game, it kind of, as much as you'd rather have
that's
him,
an injection right there to make you feel better.
Yeah, again, I think the state title game was enough adrenaline to at least ignore the pain until at least afterwards. But absolutely, again, Pine Bluff, so again, did struggle, at least with him, at least being sidelined, again, on the extra points throughout that contest. But, again, still was enough, even with that, at least behind them, to, again, pick up the victory. Again, talk about the offensive line for Pine Bluffs, again, having their issues. Again, we knew it was going to be an issue on the front line just due to the fact, again, we saw the size and how big Shoshone has on the defensive side. Again, their offensive line was also pretty hefty as well.
But they did clean up the snapping, though. Again, Lorick did not have to reach.
I think there was one little
but
high.
other than that, I think they cleaned that up real well between Merrifield and Lorick, and again, hats off to David Merrifield, the junior, who again, played with a lot of confidence. Again, you saw the Hornets out there, Nick, and as well as the Wranglers. Wranglers, defending champions. Both teams played with a lot of confidence. Matter of fact, you look at the Wranglers, where they run 2-1 to passing. Well, you look at the final numbers, and you see that Alex Mills had 290 yards passing. And he got a lot of big bombs off.
Yeah.
And again, too, a very balanced attack by both the Wranglers as well as the Hornets. And again, this game delivered.
It came down to the running game where, again, both were impressive for Trumpler. Again, he was all as advertised. Again, we know what Schaefer's capable of, but, again, he kind of turned it up. But, again, plain and simple, it just came down to, again, that just extra oomph, at least compliment on the ground game where, again, we talk about Beacon and Schaefer complimenting each other where, again, it was on Shoshone's side, it was pretty much Trumpler, and that was about it. Again, he was the main guy, at least go-to guy. So, again, any other compliment behind him really struggled against the Pine Bluffs defense. But, again, at least Mills, again, it wasn't so much. There were a couple deep bombs by him, but it seemed like it was more so yards after the catch where, again, that defense, and again, Coach Gray has mentioned this many a time on the defensive side, is we got to gang tackle. When we are one-on-one on an island, we have that difficulty of wrapping up. So that was kind of the main issue, and thankfully it wasn't the biggest costly issue for the Pine Bluffs Hornets, as, again, we saw that where yards after catch really mattered in that contest, or at least kind of helped out Shoshone make it a little bit more of a competitive game.
And, you know, as you mentioned with Pine Bluffs going through the graduation process, Shoshone loses a lot.
Yeah.
So, again, you know, Coach Strumpler has done a great job over there at Shoshone, so expect the Wranglers to be near the top once again next season. And, again, as we look through the rosters, and we covered Pine about 4 times this season, you're going to see the Rocky Mountains of the world. They're graduating a lot of football players, as well as the Wranglers. Pine is going to do that. But, again, who are the teams that reload? I would think here.
Rocky Mountain, Pine, yeah.
And you would think here in the Southeast that the Hornets will be able to reload. And, again, hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with Coach Gray. Right now he's campaigning to run for, governor in 2026. I mean, he's again, they had a nice parade for the kids when they came back back to Pine Bluffs after the win. So, again, the little bedroom community 36 miles to our east, Pine Bluffs, they were whooping and hollering Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll get into Class 4A, where, again, Cheyenne unfortunately falls to Sheridan in that contest. Again, that was all Colson Kuhn on that one, and just had a feeling that he was going to at least go off in that contest, again, realizing the playoffs and what's at stake, and he certainly did. That's the unfortunate thing. But, again, with Pine finding their success, again, getting at least that state title back to the Pine Bluffs, again, running the table, Burns making it back in the playoffs. We saw 2 of our Cheyenne teams make it to the semifinals, 1 moving on to that state title game. That, again, 4 out of the 5 teams here in Southeast Wyoming, or at least Laramie County, made it to the playoffs, and again, 1 come away with a championship. You got to feel pretty confident heading into 2023, even with all the graduations that are happening and the changes in the movement, that, again, football's pretty strong in this part of the state right now, especially in, again, all various of classifications from 4A, 2A, and down to, again, 1A, 9-man. Pine Bluffs, you got to imagine, even with losing some of the talent that they are going to, at least for 2023, they're still going to be the top dog favorite heading into that season of probably defending that championship back in Laramie, at least in November. You got to imagine that this team, well, under Coach Gray, he knows what it takes. He knows what he's got. He's going to find a way to get that team back to that state championship game to defend their title coming up in 2023.
Well, another team that's going to be back, and a very good possibility. Every year we think they're going to be down, and they're not. I mean, and we talked to Trevor Jackson, the broadcaster from the Sheridan radio station, KWYO, and Trevor said, football is taken very, very. Again, we've seen their athletics up there. They're pretty solid in basketball. We saw them in baseball this past season, but again with football, for Jeff Mowry, reload. So Colson Kuhn may graduate this year.
That's a huge void to fill, though. That is a huge void to fill for the Sheridan Broncs. Again, especially in the playoffs, it was the Colson Kuhn show. Again, we go back to the state title game. He was the main offensive go-getter in that.
Yeah,
and also, too, again, he also came away with a pick 6. So it's something that, how do you fill those shoes where he was the main reason why, again, in my personal opinion, he's the reason why Sheridan was in that state title game and why they won that championship.
But also, too, and this is the exception to the rule with the Sheridan football program. Since Don Julian and Jeff Mowry came on board back in 2007, again, they adjust. So, again, we've seen them before be more of a passing team.
Yeah.
So, again, next season, will we see them air it out a little bit more? Because they do have a good crew of wide receivers coming back. Again, how do you replace a Colson Kuhn? Well, you don't. I mean, the kid rushed for over 2,200 yards this season. So, again.
In the past 2 games, 800, 900 yards?
About 800 yards. And, again, throwing the football, he threw one for 16 yards. Like you said, he had a pick 6. So again, he is basically your all-stater of football players in all classes.
Yeah, but let's at least talk about, move on to, again, the final contest on Saturday. Again, game we had here live on 1480 K-Rig, again, Cheyenne for Sheridan. Again, a game that was, again, it was not as close as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to come down to the wire. Turnovers, the big bugaboo, the biggest issue for Cheyenne.
The pick
and also, too, again, good game plan by Jeff Mowry and company, again, to use Colson Kuhn to go after that defense, which, again, we've known throughout this entire season. I've kind of at least alarmed the situation for Cheyenne East's defense that, again, tackling has been the biggest Achilles heel for this team. That, again, they like to pick it up in that second half where they kind of gel together and kind of gang tackle. But, again, if for Sheridan, for the Bronx, that was the perfect game plan, was hit the ground. Use your main guy of Colson Kuhn, where, again, this defense, as we've known for Cheyenne East, has struggled against bringing down kind of those big guys in the backfield.
Well, you look at the intermission where East was leading 14-10, and then they had the football to open up the third quarter. Well, they put themselves immediately behind the 8 ball when they took the opening kickoff, and I do believe it was Cassis who only brought it out to the 11.
Yeah.
And again, you start behind the 8 ball not on one drive, but back-to-back drives, and Sheridan muscled up on them both times, where East could not drive it down the field. In the meantime, Sheridan somehow, some way is going to break through and score, which they ended up doing. And then again, when you fall behind to a Sheridan team, not so much you have to retweak your offense or call out different plays. East pretty much stayed within their realm on the offensive side. But again, Cam Hayes is rolling to his right, throws, and stepping in front of it was Colson Kuhn and taking it to the house. So, again, East did not help themselves coming out of the locker room after halftime. And I think that was, to me, in my opinion, that was the turning point of the game.
Yeah, and again, turnover factor, again, goes in advantage to Sheridan, and they also too had a fumble, same with Cheyenne East, but again, that INT, that pick six, really kind of did in the Eastside Thunderbirds, where they were not the same after that. Sheridan gained a lot of momentum and confidence and basically just kind of, I wouldn't say ran away with it, but they were pretty much on their route. You can tell that they were coming away with back-to-back state championships. That was the unfortunate thing, especially the way that East's offense was really struggling in those later moments.
And then you look, too, when the sun went down, and you could tell. Again, it was a great day for football, right? It was not bad conditions.
It was chilly.
But once the sun went down, it got cooler. But then you look at a kid, again, go back to Colson Kuhn, hitting on a 41-yarder and a 44-yarder. Again, not, like we watch kickers today where they put it high in the air. I mean, these were line drive shots. And those were key field goals that, again, moved Sheridan one closer at the intermission because he hit it right before halftime, and then hitting that one in the second half. And again, those are just lifters right there.
Yeah.
Getting 3 instead of, because again, credit to the East defense, they shut them down. But again, it's kind of a backbreaker when here's a kid like Kuhn who, again, there's nothing that young man can't do. And he's not 6'5" or anything like that. He's about 5'10". And gosh,
he's big though.
He's just he's
wide.
He is thick, and that's why a lot of teams had problems tackling him. That's what we mentioned with Coach Apodaca. You feel like you get him wrapped up, and next thing you know, you see him busting through again. I mean, it's like everybody knows he's going to have the football.
But that is something that Cheyenne East struggled throughout this entire season. Was, again, those big kind of thick guys, as you at least described. Again, they had those issues, whether it was, again, we go back to even the Laramie contest, where, again, Laramie early on in that first half had no problems getting down the field against the Cheyenne East Thunderbirds. We go back to the quarterfinal contest against Rock Springs. Rock Springs did a similar situation where, again, that ball game was a lot closer than a lot were at least figuring it was going to be, especially going into halftime. It was something that that defense has got to shore up for next season. If East, and again, East I think will be fine. East is going to be another top-tier contender to be back in that state title game, as they are, again, year in and year out under head coach Chad Goff. But it is something that defense has got to get shored up, that, again, that gang tackling, or if we're going to be undersized on that side of the football field, that we got to get that gang tackling. We got to get that full 48-minute of production from that defense, which, again, has been sporadic, has been up and down throughout the season.
Well, and again, you got 3 pieces, excuse me. You got 3 pieces of the offense that I can see just off the top of my head. You got Cam Hayes, who I think is one of the most prolific passers in Class 4A. You got Drew Jackson back in the backfield. So, again, there's that 1-2 punch there. As I mentioned, you got Nathan Mirich coming back. So again, you already got a target that you know is going to be very, very qualified to catch those aerials, and whoever's coming up.
And he certainly got spotlighted in the state title game, and maybe that was on purpose by Chad Goff to again kind of prepare for next season.
Well, and again, Schlabs had 11 catches.
No.
Jacob Culver had 8 catches, and then I think Mirich had 7. But my point is though, offensively, you got to plug in the holes. I think you have about 3. You have to fill on the offensive line, and again too, you're going to have kids that have come through the system from Cary over to Cheyenne East, and like I said, East is going to be reload once again next season.
I think plain and simple for Cheyenne East, you feel comfortable that this is a team that should garner again a top seed going into the playoffs, that they have a legitimate shot once again to make it back to that state title game, if not win that state championship. Again, Class 4A, as you look across, similar to this season, and it still feels like that, where again it was kind of up in the air. There's not really a favorite to an extent, or at least a heavy favorite, I should say. Again, I guess you want to give the nod to Sheridan, but again, the Colson Kuhn graduation, that is huge. That is a huge loss for the Sheridan Bronx.
And again, the Bronx reload.
Yeah, but again, we will see how they answer back, and if teams can take advantage of that, and again, if they're able to fill that void on the offense and kind of defensive side for the Sheridan Bronx. But again, Central, East, Natrona, Sheridan, who knows with Thunder Basin? Who knows with Rock Springs? Who knows with Casper Kelly Walsh at this point in time? Who knows with Laramie? Laramie kind of improved throughout the later parts of the season.
You're going to throw the entire Class 4A
outside of Cheyenne South. Again, Cheyenne South, I think hopefully they can pull off a few victories, if not just at least the lone one in that, at least in that losing streak. But again, I'll toss in 7 of the 8, or at least. Again, Campbell County, who knows? Again, Campbell County, they do deal with a lot of graduation. That was a team that was kind of a disappointment for me. I expected a lot more out of the Camels this season.
Toronto's going to go through a lot of graduation.
But again, it is, again, similar to this season, going into 2023, I believe, and I would think, again, head coaches, if we get close to August of 2023, are going to say, yeah, Class 4A is wide open, that there is not that dominant team that everyone kind of looks up to. Again, similar to, or at least I would equate it to Class 3A with Cody. Cody this year, throughout the entire year, was that dominant team that everyone just handed the title immediately, albeit, again, they lost to Star Valley on Friday. But, again, they were that team that everyone was fearing and going, yeah, here you go. Here's the championship.
Under, and I'll equate it to the college ranks, Coach Saban at Alabama. It's like every year they kind of hand them the trophy. But they have been dominant in the 21st century. So has the Sheridan Bronx.
Yeah.
But the Sheridan Bronx, again, without handing them the Class 4A title next season, again, rich in tradition. Again, over the last 16 years, this program has been at the top or near the top.
Well, again, back-to-back state championships. Again, Class 4A. Again, didn't make it to the 2020. Again, that was Cheyenne East versus Thunder Basin East, picking up that state title during the COVID year. But, yeah, again, I do believe with this last title, again, that state title number 30, or, again, high 20s.
They kind of remind you of the old Gillette High School, the Camels, when the Camels were winning basketball under Mike Curry. Boys basketball, or even the women under Coach Mitch Holstey. So, again, it's a rich tradition, and you got to knock them off the top of the hill. And right now, again, with Jeff Maury, he's going to reload. And what he has next year, what he assembles offensively, he's going to gear up his game plan. Whether they are a throwing team, whether they're a running team, whether they're a mixture, who knows? Who knows what they got coming up?
Well, this Sheridan team, who, again, let's point out, again, did run the table as well. They went unbeaten this season. Will they go undefeated next season, especially as how open I think Class 4A is going to be? And, again, with their voids that they have to fill, again, it might be a 1 to 2 loss, 3 loss team. I basically, plain and simple, I think for the Sheridan Bronx, their route to the state championship contest, or winning it, at least going for the three-peat, is not going to be as easy as what was here in 2022. I think they're gonna have to earn it a little bit more than what they did here in 2022. I think it's gonna be an up, again, not a monstrous uphill climb, but it's gonna be a climb for them to at least repeat as
Looking
champions.
at the rosters, it could be a balance between 1 through 6, and it could be up for grabs next year. We need to take a timeout. This is the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back right after this. Treat your taste buds to a warm bagel and Mort's Bagels with your favorite cream cheese. Perfect for the office or perfect at home. Mort's Bagels are always made fresh and delicious daily. They are perfect for breakfast and lunch too. Did I mention perfect? For 3 decades, Mort's has served us with amazing bagels and customer service. Ask about their specialty and seasonal selections too. They even deliver. Mort's Bagels. Treat yourself today. 1815 Cary Avenue, downtown Cheyenne.
I'm Brandon Warner with the Silent Witness Crime of the Week. Laramie County Sheriff's Office is seeking information related to a burglary that occurred in the 1600 block of Hereford Ranch Road. Prior to September 27th, a radio tower site was entered. Husky power tools and 50-foot of coax were taken. If you have information about this or another crime, call Crime Stopper Silent Witness at 638-TIPS or on the web at silentwitnesslaramiecounty.com. You will remain anonymous and may be eligible for a cash reward of up to $1,000. Together, we can make a difference.
The next time you have a craving for authentic Mexican cuisine, visit Guadalajara at 1745 Del Range Boulevard. Locally owned and operated, they serve their dishes with family tried and true recipes, with the freshest of ingredients, made to order. Start off your meal with their complimentary chips, salsa, and bean dip. And if you're feeling adventurous, enjoy your favorite margarita or cerveza. Guadalajara, where the spice is always nice.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in both Cheyenne and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
At the Cheyenne Regional Cancer Center, we take a caring, comprehensive approach to cancer treatment and prevention. To best serve your needs, we provide chemotherapy, radiation oncology, and infusion treatments, as well as the quality care, resources, and support you need from one warm, welcoming location that's close to home. For more about our compassionate approach to cancer care and prevention, visit CheyenneRegional.org/cancer.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Well, the wise for today, mostly sunny and blustery. Look for a daytime high near 30. Winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30. Mostly clear and blustery for tonight with a low down to 14 degrees. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly sunny. We're looking for a daytime high near 34, breezy conditions. Northwesterly winds at 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35. And welcome back to the Pro Show. We move to the JC ranks where we will talk some soccer and hoops. Do want to mention our next guest will be joining us around 12:30. He is Boyd Erickson, and you might be saying, who's Boyd Erickson? Well, he is the new owner of the Gem City Bison, where both you and me, Nick, kind of scratch our head a little bit, but we'll get some answers, hopefully, from Boyd.
Figure out where, again, we got a three-headed ownership group, again, saying, hey, we're committed to this team, and now all three are gone. Again, thankfully, Gem City Bison will be around, but, again, try to get an understanding of this new ownership, but, again, what the future direction is of this franchise over there in Laramie. But, yeah, again, that'll be coming up at least 12:30 here on the Pro Show. Talking LCCC sports, soccer has come to an end officially again.
Ladies, 9-1 on the season, and, well, you know what? Jim Gardner did it again. Got him to the Nationals.
Got him to the Nationals, but unfortunately, again, that's at least that national championship still eludes LCCC. Again, a very, again, unsuccessful, again, as harsh of a word it may be, but again, unsuccessful attempt at the national tournament. Again, going 0-2. Again, that season has come to an end for the women's soccer program. Again, losing 4-2 against Hill College, and then losing 4-0 against Eastern Florida State College. Again, Eastern Florida State College, a perennial kind of powerhouse in JC athletics, especially men's and women's soccer. Again, we talk about that team, again, usually in the national tournament, usually winning championships. I do believe Eastern State Florida, again, winning the women's basketball championship last year. So either way, once again, that national title eludes LCCC. It was tough. But this is also to a program, especially with all the turmoil that it had to go through this season, especially with Nate Olness leaving abruptly. Jim Gardner hired on as the interim, again, coming in very late into at least late into the preseason to get this team ready. Impressive of how this team was resilient to win a Region 9 championship, win the district championship, and then get on to the national tournament, which, again, ran into some tough teams and unfortunately couldn't pick up a victory. But, again, overall, a successful season, I would say, on the women's soccer side for what was how this thing started out with all the turmoil to start out 2022.
Yeah, and again, when we had Jim on here, and Jim said, hey, it was kind of, shaking hands and meeting the young ladies for the first time, when he was named interim head coach.
This is a program that started out, let's give an example again, preseason competition. They went 0-5.
Yeah.
They started out, again, winless until picking up a 4-0 victory on the road against Central Wyoming College. So it was a struggle. So to go 0-5 to start out the season, basically have, again, no competition against some of these top dog teams, find themselves winning the championship, district championship, and again, making it to the national tournament. So, again, successful overall. Again, obviously that national championship is the end-all, be-all, and that's something we're still awaiting here at Cheyenne for this program to bring home, and hopefully they will with whatever new head coach they hire on now, especially as that process now begins to get that person in to kind of move forward with the program. But, again, successful after the wackiness of the start of the season was for this team.
Yeah, and again, you couldn't go wrong, first and foremost, by bringing Jim Gardner back into the fold for LCCC. Again, all of his years and knowledge of the sport, and again, what he has meant to the soccer programs throughout our community as well. So, and Jim sat right here and said, hey, I'm only going to do it this year, and I'll sit in and try to help out on the next election. So that's going to be the tough part. Who is going to run that program next? And
obviously, you got to find someone that's committed to the program and won't leave abruptly due to, again, internal factors there at LCCC, I think, plain and simple. But, yeah, again, who will they go with? Again, will it be an aged veteran who's been amongst, JUCO soccer, who, again, wants to come into Cheyenne? Again, the direction right now is a big question mark to fill the void, fill the shoes of, again, what Jim Gardner built with LCCC. Yeah, very surprising. And again, for both soccer teams as well, let's make note that, again, Fernando as well, he's interim as of right now, will apply at least for that position. But again, it's not a guarantee, even though as we go to years past, that interim title has been removed from a couple head coaching positions to make it official, again, most notably with Dwayne Salisbury on the men's basketball side of things. But, again, what direction will both for the men and the women go with this hiring committee at LCCC?
And again, too, you think about if you're applying for the job, and if Fernando gets it, that's great. But
I think he, plain and simple, in my opinion, not to sway things, but, again, I think Fernando, again, who has played in that system, been a part of it, again, as an assistant coach, again, having the interim tag, and again, it was a successful season for them, albeit, again, they didn't come away with the Region 9 championship, but, again, I think he's the perfect fit.
I think he's one of the top contenders, yeah. But, again, look at these two programs that you mentioned, both men and women's soccer. Vince Gibson, very successful 10 years head coach. Again, big shoes to fill. I think Fernando gave it a pretty doggone good shot here in filling those shoes. You look at when Jim retired, Gardner retired, and they brought in Nate Olness. Olness came from a very successful, he built that program at Gillette College, came down, and came out of the blocks okay, and then stumbled a bit, and then eventually left the program, re-entered Jim Gardner. Again, those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Again, it's almost like with the soccer programs, every year you expect to at least win that Region 9 championship.
I think at minimum for both men and women, as of right now for LCCC, minimum expectation is Region 9 championship or bust. And then what you do past that is kind of bonus, even though on the women's soccer side, I've kind of pushed it up further that it is national title and bust. Again, it's that successful of a program, even though, again, the struggling years under at least Coach Olness, again, we go back to when Jim Gardner was the official head coach, that we kind of held them to that standard of, hey, you are a national title contender. I think this team has enough talent and has done enough to prove themselves that, again, bring that hardware here to Cheyenne for the first time.
Well, then I think Vince Gibson, and I might be wrong time frame. I think when he was after Clark Rasmussen left and he was named acting athletic director, interim athletic director. But prior to that, he had an off season. And, once he had that off season, boom, the program got rebuilt. Next year, they're back in the fold again, and they've been consistent ever since. So, once in a while, you're going to have a bumble-stumble type of season. But, again, the expectations for soccer at LCCC are always high. And, again, they expect you to be, the programs itself expect to be at the top.
Yeah.
When the dust settles.
And now as we'll move on into basketball, which again is underway for both men and women for LCCC, those programs are trying to get to that level. They've been working on it, especially on the men's side. Again, getting close, hosting the Region 9 tournament a couple seasons ago, being that number 1 seed out of the North division here in Region 9. But, again, so far as we see here in 2022, 2023 with LCCC, we'll start on the women's side of things where, again, especially under what Coach Ormeyer built, again, getting that team into, again, above 500 year in and year out, being at least a team that makes it far, at least getting past that first round of the playoffs, getting into the kind of the main crux of the Region 9 tournament. Now what we saw with Coach McWilliams getting, into the semifinals last season, unfortunately losing to Eastern Wyoming up there in Casper. But, again, women's and men's trying to at least be similar to the soccer programs at LCCC, and I think they're in good hands, especially the way that we see right now starting out this season. 5 games under the belt for LCCC on the women's side, 4-1. And again, looking at some Southern Division opponents that they've gotten victories over, Trinidad State, McCook, North Platte, did lose on the road against Northeastern. Got a victory in Sterling, part of this Beef Boosters tournament against Concordia University out of Ann Arbor. Tonight, though, is going to be the true test to see where this team is. They'll be on the road at the Cougar Palace taking on Western Nebraska, which, again, we don't know about this Lady Cougars team, especially with losing Chad Gibney moving on. Again, we do have a familiar face in the head coaching role, again, assistant taking over that position over there in Western Nebraska. But this is going to be kind of the true litmus test, in my opinion, here early on in the season to see, can we compete with a dominating force of Western Nebraska that has been Region 9 champions year after year after year.
Well, and again, and matter of fact, let's talk more about the Lady Golden Eagles. Let's do a little business here. Let's do the government business thing. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Lady Golden Eagles and the Golden Eagles basketball programs right after this here on 1480 K-Ray.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray. As we're back with hour number 2, and again, we'll talk some baseball at the bottom of the hour and some new leadership over for the Gem City Bison. But let's go back to the Lady Golden Eagles as we were talking. You know, where they get the split at the Bank of Colorado Event Center in Sterling, losing to NJC.
Lost by only 2 points.
Yeah, and they only shot, 28%, 29% from the field in that loss.
If I remember correctly, again, looking at the stats and the scores from that contest, again, LCCC had to kind of come from behind in that contest, almost coming away with a victory on the road again in Sterling, but they kind of dug themselves a hole, as you again talk about. Again, shooting percentage was not all the best on the road against again, let's be honest, again, Lady Plainsmen, or at least Plainswomen of NJC. They're a talented team in the South. Again, they can be competitive, as we've seen in the years past. But again, the top dog team, especially on the women's basketball side, is who they face tonight on the road in Scotts Bluff.
Yeah, absolutely. And is NJC the number 2 team there in the South? Probably this season. But the thing is, too,
who knows with Otero? Otero's again kind of been up and down. Trinidad State.
They're consistent.
Yeah.
You know,
the teams to beat, again, plain and simple on the women's side of things, is Western Nebraska and Casper College. are
And
teams
Eastern, throw Eastern in there as well, too.
Yeah, but Eastern's been kind of up and down. But again, they're consistently good. But again, we've seen a couple seasons where again they can't get past that next round, at least of the Region 9
and
tournament.
again, too, Eastern is going to be in the similar situation to LCCC. LCCC's got some great veterans that have returned to the program. And again, you look at, Hallie Hester, for example, taking over for Sister Sam. I saw that improvement last season from the first time we had the ladies, especially when I was up in North Dakota, all the way until that Region 9 game against Casper College. You could see how much improvement that she had brought to her game. And then you had, Cheyenne Omir Jones, and you had Monique Vateni, who showed her strength. I'm trying to think, too, the young lady that came over from the Netherlands. Again, you have a good blend of these ladies that are veteran talent, and they're pretty good size. Again, I think Coach Mack's got a very good program going. We'll see tonight. We'll see where they're at, if we are going to balance the scales, where they're going to finish in the north, or, how they're going to be when the season ends.
Yeah.
But you'll get a good idea of where this team is at right now.
Well, especially for the next couple of contests, where, again, on the road at Western Nebraska coming up tonight, Friday and Saturday. They'll be out in Utah taking on Utah State. Eastern Snow College, again, perennial powerhouses as well, where, again, if LCCC is able to pull off a few victories or at least survive this kind of gauntlet of road contests, I think plain and simple, yes, it is a litmus test to see how they will fare out, especially once we get into conference play, when we do see the likes of, again, Casper College, who is the top dog team. Eastern Wyoming, absolutely.
I think the Trappers are going to, the Lady Trappers are going to be pretty
Trappers as well, too. Again, you look at the rest of the north, again, Central Wyoming, probably not. Western Wyoming, they have struggled mightily over the years. But outside of that, again, there are some teams to keep an eye out to see if LCCC can be that, at least, entity. And I think, especially in LCCC's case, this is something that, if things can gel well, and you could take advantage of situations, including Western Nebraska, where are they the same team now as they were under head coach Chad Gimney? If they can pull off the victory here tonight on the road, which, again, I don't think since this program has been back, I don't think LCCC's ever won in the Cougar Palace.
Well, and here's the deal, too. When Chad Gimney decided to step down, again, he had already gone through the recruiting process, he and his staff. Okay? So, again, we know the talent pool over at Western Nebraska is good. And I don't think you're going to see much of a beat skipped over at the Cougar Palace when LCCC visits. I want to see, again, and I'm sorry, I forgot Jamie DeCoke, joining those ranks. But again, then you got the mixture of new talent. Where we get a good grip on the Lady Golden Eagles is how they play on the road. We know they're going to play well at Story Gym or play well at home.
Yeah.
But I think in this situation, if they don't have those off nights like they did against NJC, and again, we'll get NJC at Story Gym. They got to come up here and play us. But the thing is,
actually, no, they won't.
Oh, they don't come up. I thought we would have a little home and home. I know that was a little 2-day tournament. But anyway, my point being, though, again, I want to see Michaela Bork. Again, who Coach Mack is very high on. So, again, we got some good ball handlers. We got some good boarders. And again, we got some good defensive young ladies for the Lady Golden Eagles this season. So it's going to be
but again,
a true test tonight.
This recruiting style that Coach Mack has brought in, where, again, she wanted bigger, taller, again, players, as, again, that's what the MO has been for Casper, has been the MO for Western Nebraska, and, again, it's proved to be successful for those programs. Well, again, here's your shot to test to see if that recruitment, or, again, this talent that you brought in now, complementing with your veterans from last season that, again, made to that semifinal Region 9 tournament. This is again, these are big games upcoming for LCCC to at least boost some confidence and basically say, hey, this is our region now, or this is, again, hey, Casper, Eastern, Western, watch out. we're gunning for that title now.
And you said it right. Again, those that went through the wars last year as freshmen, now as sophomores, are kind of educating those freshmen real quick. Hey, you know what? There is no off night when we play basketball, and they're going to get that true test against the Lady Cougars.
That's a key thing as well too for the women's side of things. Where again, how many years in the past have we seen this team come out, kind of set the world on fire, get some upsets, again, top 25 upsets early on into the season, where they have successful preseason and early conference play. But once we get into February, once we get into March, this team kind of seems to peter out. It has its struggles as that season kind of wears on them. I think that's going to be another key factor this season for LCCC on the women's side, and I'll say even for the men, is can they play consistently good all months all the way up until that Region 9 tournament, not have that tell-off, as we've seen in years past. That is the key factor. But, again, big contest coming up tonight for LCCC and on the road.
Correct me, that 6 o'clock tip-off there.
Yeah. So, moving over to the men's side of things, for the Golden Eagles, they are 2-1, only 3 games under their belt. They'll be on the road at Air Force Prep down in Colorado Springs. Win against McCook, loss at home against North Platte, and give credit to North Platte. They were just plain and simple. That dominant team had a chance to watch that contest there at Story Gymnasium. They are a good bunch. That is a team to keep an eye out in Region 9 from the South. That, again, they looked mightily impressive.
How about the bounce-back victory?
Kudos to LCCC to come back on the road against a Western Nebraska team and win it in overtime against the Cougars. So 2-1 as of right now for the LCCC Golden Eagles as they prepare for Air Force Prep. Next couple of contests, again, looking forward Friday in Casper against Dickinson State JV, against Impact Academy. Not really true litmus test, in my opinion, for this Golden Eagles team. Again, their true test will be upcoming when they're on the road against College of Southern Idaho. They have a 4-game, at least, road trip coming up into November, early December at Southern Idaho, at McCook, at North Platte, and then traveling to Sterling to see Northeastern. That's going to be the gauntlet.
They have Air Force Prep tonight, right?
That's what I said.
Yeah, and in Colorado Springs.
That's what I said.
That's a tough house. We were there last year.
We saw that last year. Yeah, the Huskies, they took care of business.
Yeah, they were pretty doggone good. And again, just so we remind folks, that team of the Huskies is basically those that will go and be on the Air Force Falcons.
Yeah,
program.
they're freshmen. They're Air Force Falcon freshmen.
So again,
you're talking about again, a Division I team, and again, we saw the banners in that gymnasium that they win. They are dominant year in and year out. And LCCC found that out last season, again, playing down there, that it's not going to be an easy contest.
Well, and again, too, I'm glad, I'm heartened to see, young men like Jada McCrae, Ben Hageman, who were role players last year, now are, adopting. They're more than role players. They're Coach Salisbury is expecting them to be double figures, double borders, to go, take some of that pressure off Xavier McCourt. That's the most important thing, because every team is going to be keying on X.
Yeah, without a doubt, especially after seeing what he's done over the past, at least the last season. So, without a doubt, it's finally. And again, we've talked many a year. We've seen this, and again, broadcast at LCCC basketball for the past couple seasons. Again, won't at least moving forward. But again, how many times have we seen with Xavier McCourt? We go back to, again, the former, at least, point guard. We go, again, as I'm blanking on names now. Again, I got
Eric Oliver.
Eric Oliver. Again, we look at those point guards, or, again, that team leader where they've had no compliment. It's been kind of all pressure has been on their shoulders to get it done and lead those teams. This is that LCCC squad this season that, it feels like X has, again, opportunities to, again, take a break, rest a bit, and not shoulder the entire weight of the team on his shoulders. So we'll see how this, again, season evolves for the men, for LCCC. Again, the key factor for this season as well, they got to survive the gauntlet here in the North, which, again, North is going to be very talented. Eastern, Western, Casper's always in it. Central, again, competitive. Northwest as well. Again, I think every team in this North division has a legitimate shot of being that number one seed. And that's the key factor is you want to be that number one seed in the North Division because guess what? They get to host Region 9 North, or at least, the Region 9 North gets to host a region tournament this year.
Well, one of the keys, too, and I'm really pulling for the young man is Munlin, James Munlin. Again, last year was pretty much in a walking boot throughout the course of the year. The guy's 7 foot, 7'1". You got a big underneath, and that's one of the things that LCCC's. They had Coswell last year, and you had the kid out of Rex, Georgia. But my point is, Munlin is a strong, thick kid, and they need somebody to close down that middle. That's where LCCC gets beat down the middle quite a bit. They can get Munlin to get you 10 boards a game. Get you 10 points. That's a bonus right there because, again, McCord's going to score. McCrae's going to score. Going, off the bench, you're going to get some bench scoring as well. And, again, with Ben Hageman, like I said, I'm real glad that Ben is being looked to as a scorer this season for the Golden Eagles. So, again, big game on tap tonight. We'll see how they fare in Colorado Springs against the Air Force Prep Huskies. We will take a timeout. We'll be back with more. We'll talk football right after this on 1480 K-Ray.
What's in a Kia? I'm A.J. Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne. We'll be glad to show you all the value you get for the money with a new Kia. Like the new 2023 Kia Seltos, which has inspiring tech, impressive cargo space, capable all-wheel drive, and available turbocharged power. The 2023 Kia Seltos also has great fuel efficiency and one of the best warranties in the business. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
The West, the way you want it, Terry Bison Ranch.
You're invited to enjoy a holiday feast this Thanksgiving Day at the Senator Steakhouse at the Terry Bison Ranch. The menu from the hot entree station features herb roasted turkey, lemon rosemary grilled chicken, bison short ribs and barbecue sauce with the fixings including mashed potatoes, gravy, along with green bean casserole. But wait, there's more. Stop by the many stations and fill up, including the breakfast station, serving delicious omelets and other goodies. The hand-carved station with roasted turkey, prime rib with au jus, and horseradish. Also, there's other stations featuring salads, shrimp and salmon, sweet and assorted breads and rolls, and most importantly, save room for their dessert station with pies, cakes, and cheesecakes. Remember, you can also enjoy $10 bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. Seating times are at 10:30, 12:30, 2:30, and 4:30 p.m. Call and reserve your spot today at 307-634-4171. It's $43.99 for adults, kids 5 through 12, $21.99, kids under 5 eat free. And there's a 10% discount for seniors and military. It's a remarkable Thanksgiving buffet this Thanksgiving Day at the Senator Steakhouse at the Terry Bison Ranch. Take exit 2 to the Terry Ranch Road.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. Probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds. It's always nonstop excitement when you visit one of our 3 locations of Wind Me Down. Inside the Outlaw Saloon on the South Greeley Highway, the Cheyenne Plaza, and at 1345 Delrange Boulevard, next to Culver's and Office Depot, where we offer many new machines and also have plenty of food and drink on hand in our spacious Delrange location. The action is always fast and furious with our pari-mutuel wagering from the nation's tracks and our pari-mutuel machines, which offer many different and fun games to play on. You can become the next big winner here in Cheyenne. Make sure to take advantage of all the promotions that we offer too. So come on in today and bring a friend to enjoy a lot of fun and excitement at Wind Me Downs in the Cheyenne Plaza, inside the Outlaw Saloon, and at 1345 Delrange Boulevard. Open 7 days a week. For more information, go to wydowns.com. For nearly 30 years, family-owned and operated Lennox Auto Body, along with the Auto Glass and Detail Center, has been serving our community with quality and customer satisfaction. It's a pretty simple drill. When you want it done right the first time, call Lennox Auto Body for an appointment at 307-634-6608. Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue. And the Auto Glass and Detail Center. Remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean at 617 East Pershing Boulevard.
Lennox Auto Body.
No shortcuts, no compromise.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Well, the wise for today, mostly sunny and blustery. Look for a daytime high near 30. Winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30. Mostly clear and blustery for tonight with a low down to 14 degrees. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly sunny. We're looking for a daytime high near 34, breezy conditions. Northwesterly winds at 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35. We welcome you back to our program. Again, the Pro Show, Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. And we talk Wyoming Cowboys football, and I know you're going to say, see, I told you so. Who knew that Andrew Peasley, again, we were doing the game, so, was going to be relieved by Jaden Clemens in that contest, a sophomore. The Cowboys needed a miracle, which they got right at the end. Matter of fact, if I look at it right, didn't they score right there towards the end, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, in the fourth quarter. But again, a 1-point victory over CSU, albeit again with the injury, but still, though, again, this is something that, without a doubt, I will say I told you so, that this game was going to be a lot more competitive. That CSU had a legitimate shot of winning. Again, let's talk about it again. We made that score update during the Class 4A state title game that, again, at half, it was 10-0. Advantage CSU down there at Canvas Stadium, that this CSU team that has no business beating a Wyoming Cowboys team, or at least right now this season, CSU was just awful. This team had a shot of beating Wyoming in the border war. And again, that's why I say in these rivalry games, you toss out the records, you toss out this and that. You can't scout this game for any of it. Again, it's always, more than not, it's a competitive contest, and that any team, any side has a shot of winning that bronze boot. And again, it'll stay with the Wyoming Cowboys after, again, sneaking away with a 1-point victory. But still, though, that, again, for me, especially now with the injury, again, we know there's a lot more injuries right now with the Wyoming Cowboys as we prepare for Boise State. This is the key matchup right now for 1 versus 2 here in the Mountain Division to at least get closer to that Mountain West Conference Championship game. Without looking at the spread, looking 14. At the line,
Boise State favored by 14.
I think that's perfectly fair. That again, right now, where I figure Cowboys had a good shot at home to upend Boise State Broncos. With all the injuries and again how you played against CSU, sorry. This Boise State team should have no problems taking care of business coming up on Saturday.
Well, every time we say they're going to boat race or get boat raced, they turn around and do something crazy.
Weather right now in Laramie looking like it's not going to be a factor. Again, it's going to be cold. Again, snow's going to hit here coming up Wednesday and Thursday, including here in Cheyenne. But, so not a whole lot of factors going against either team or, again, any reason why teams are going to be handicapped in this one. But, again, Cowboys with the injuries. Boise, I know, is also too dealing with some injuries. So, again, it's going to happen. It's late in the season, so both teams, guess what? You got to suck it up. That's part of the process. But right now, again, the way that I saw Wyoming play against CSU, you don't feel too confident that Cowboys are going to be all that competitive against Boise State, even with it being here in Laramie.
Well, here's the things you kind of hang your hat on. Cowboys are winners of 4 straight. They're 7-3. We already know they're bowl eligible. Boise's only 7-3.
Yeah. This is the key matchup.
The Cowboys of the conference have played fairly decent defense. And the thing with the Cowboys, and again, I'm sitting here with a lot of egg on my face because I did not think this team was going to be 7-3. I really, after that first couple of weeks, I did not think they were going to be there.
And again, I think that equates to, again, this Mountain West Conference, as we're seeing across the board, is down. Is down from top to bottom outside of Boise. Right now, again, Boise, it doesn't look like the powerhouse team that they've been in years past. But, again, look at the Mountain Division. Air Force has kind of picked it back up after that loss. But, again, San Jose State, Fresno's down. San Diego's down. UNLV that tried to make a surge is going backwards. New Mexico down. It's, again, we've said it many a week, and I think a lot of folks would agree with us that the Mountain West Conference, you look in general, is down compared to years in the past. I think the Cowboys, that's why I'm saying, for the Cowboys, they're taking advantage of the situation, and they're coming away with the victories, which, again, is the benefit. This is This is now your litmus test. This is your true game to see what this Cowboys team is made of. Yes, defense.
I'm kind of just drowned by the Mountain West Conference is down. The Cowboys in conference play, if you think about it, they're only scoring about 21 points a game in conference, and they're giving up 18. They're sneaking through.
And let's be honest again. You look at average on
wins.
you look at the average offense. It's one of the worst, if not near the bottom of the FBS.
And they're winning. I mean, that's
well,
just
and,
it.
Again, plain and simple. Give credit to the defense, as that's what has been. I think under Craig Bowles' tutelage, outside of the Josh Allen years here for the Wyoming Cowboys, defense has been the flag bearer. We talk year in and year out that defense is more than not pretty damn good. And once again, showing their talent this season and getting it done. That's why they've been competitive. And I think for years, seasons under Craig Bowles' regime, that defense has been near the top.
Pretty top.
Not even just in the Mountain West
top-notch.
Conference, but again, across the entire FBS.
Well, and again, things you want to hang your hat on and try to look for advantages. Cowboys are 4-1 at the War. Matter of fact, both teams, even Boise State's 4-1 at Albertsons. You look at away; they're both 3-2. So again, Cowboys, whatever advantage you can give them, being at home. Probably a full boat crowd will be out there, like you said. Right now, weather does not seem to be a factor. At last forecast we had.
The factor in this contest, plain and simple for the Cowboys, and this is kind of the scary thought, is you got to put points up against this Boise State team. You got to match.
You can't let them score.
You cannot let them score, which, again, they're going to probably struggle to score against the Cowboys defense, but I think they will get some scores on that board without a doubt. They are the Boise State Broncos, but it's something that this offense for the Cowboys, that is one of the worst, has struggled this season, and now you deal with injuries, especially at the QB position. That's the key factor, is that offense has got to match score for score. They got to, again, you can't be coming away with 3 and outs. You can't be coming away with field goals. It's not going to be enough to get it done against Boise State.
And again, this is another one of those games that they scheduled after the sun is down, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
At the War, and CBS Sports Network is going to be covering this game. But again, every time, I don't want to say every time, but throughout the course of this year, barring the CSU game, so in the 10 games of the Cowboys, they've beaten the spread. I think, about 70% of the time they've beaten the spread. So
outside of this past Saturday.
No, they lost there, and I know I think they obviously lost the first one against Illinois. They lost on the spread. There was another one I know that they and the money would be like 60%. But my point is, Boise State is favored by 14. Is that too much? Again, that's selling short the defense of the Cowboys.
No,
I think the defense is going to keep them in.
I think what it does is basically say that offense is not going to keep up pace at least for the Wyoming Cowboys. The offense is not going to keep pace with Boise State. That, again, do I anticipate Boise State's going to put up a 40 spot against the Cowboys defense? No.
Yeah, I'm not thinking 35, not even close.
35, something like that. But I think that's why you're seeing that spread as 14 points as of right now, is that I think with the injuries, and again, the question mark at the QB position, is that I don't think this offense keeps pace or is going to struggle mightily to get in that end zone or find ways to put points on that board. I think, is the 14 points fair? Yes. But I don't anticipate Boise to put up a whole bunch of, at least, points in that contest coming up Saturday. Like I said, a couple touchdowns, 4 or 5, I think is realistic. I think they struggle against the defense, but they'll find their footing at a point in time.
See, here's most recent common opponents. Boise State at home on the Smurf turf clobbered CSU 49-10. So that was back on the 29th of October. 2 weeks later, Cowboys go to Canvas and they win 14-13. That's about the only thing I can look at. And again, if you are Vegas, whoever, and you're trying to put this down into a betting line right now,
I take Boise.
And the over-under is 44.5. So again, I think that they're giving
still
a little.
Boise.
I know, but they're still giving a little respect to the Cowboys. That Boise's not going to go in there and boat race them.
No.
Do they win?
I think
21-10?
I don't see that. I think Boise puts up a little bit more points on the board than that. Again, realistically, I'd say, again, final, give me about a 35-14.
Well, here's the last 5 for Boise. Scored 41 against Nevada. Everybody should score 41. East could score 41 against Nevada. BYU, they lost 31-28. Scored 49 against CSU. Scored only 19 at the Air Force Academy. Won 19-14 against the Falcons, and then they beat Fresno 40-29. So I'm kind of liking the Cowboys at home at Jonah Field at War Memorial Stadium in Jonah Field. I'm liking the Cowboys at home defensively to shut down the Boise offense. I don't think Boise is going to put up a 30 or 40 spot against them.
I think what you can expect in this contest, and similar to what we've seen on the high school ranks, is that you're going to see that Cowboy offense go 3 and out a couple of times. That defense is going to be out there. Again, Boise's going to grind it out against them. They're going to struggle, I wouldn't doubt, first 2 quarters of that contest. But once that defense kind of is out there for quite amount of time, it's going to start to peter out. That offense for Boise State's going to figure out some open holes. They're going to find some, at least, space, and they're going to put points up. I think that's just how it's going to be for Boise State, is they're going to have to grind it out, again, to attack that offense early, keep them out on the field very long. And I think that's a realistic expectation of this contest, that, again, this offense for the Wyoming Cowboys is going to probably find themselves in a lot of 3 and outs.
Well, right now, looking at that 14-point spread, it's intrigued me. It's intrigued me to maybe lean towards the Cowboys. But, again, I look at their last 5 games. Cowboys scored 14 points against CSU. Obviously, they went to the Islands and put 27 up against the Rainbows. They put 28 up against the Aggies. New Mexico, they had 27, and then the last one they had, that was that bye week before that on the 15th. But on the 8th, they only scored 16 points at San Jose against the Spartans. So,
which, again, San Jose has been their only quality opponent in that stretch. Outside of that, again, most of those teams are well below 500.
Yeah, the Aggies are a game behind the Cowboys in the standing. So, I look at this, and I know we got to get to our next guest. I just think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I just don't think Boise's going to win by 14. If they win, it's going to be something like 21-10, 17-7, something like. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I would take the under in this, and I would probably take the points for Wyoming right now. I just don't. I think the defense is, and again, it's been much. I don't want to say much maligned by me. It's just that I haven't had the confidence, but I've seen how they've risen up to the occasion time and time again this year, keeping those scores down. I think the Cowboys defense will keep them in.
They're really behind the 8 ball in this contest with the injuries, and that's kind of the key factor. I would take the under, but I'd take Boise with the points that I think they should, but they're not going to run away with this victory. I think that they win comfortable enough, but they're going to struggle in the offense. I think, plain and simple, they will struggle against this Cowboy defense, but the amount of time that defense is on the field, Boise's going to find a way to tire them out.
At Boise, they would be 2 touchdowns better at War Memorial Stadium. I just don't see it. All right, but then again, I've been wrong on the Cowboys all season long, so don't take me to heart on this one. We're going to take a timeout. Boyd Erickson, new owner of the Gem City Bison, will be joining us here coming up in a bit on 1480 K-Ray.
1480 K-Ray is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. To hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 K-Ray features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 K-Ray, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480kray.com.
As your life changes, so do your banking needs. At Platte Valley Bank, we offer a wide range of services for your individual banking needs, as well as solutions to help your business be successful. No matter how simple or complicated your financial needs, we have the products, knowledge, and resources to help you achieve financial success. Experience the difference. You belong here.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. We're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Remember, for all your lumber and hardware needs, stop at the family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. That's 800-797-0711.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-413-7619. 800-413-7619. 800-413-7619. That's 800-413-7619.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. Probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Otherwise, for today, mostly sunny and blustery. Look for a daytime high near 30. Winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30. Mostly clear and blustery for tonight with a low down to 14 degrees. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly sunny. We're looking for a daytime high near 34, breezy conditions. Northwesterly winds at 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35. Well, welcome back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti, and we get a chance now to talk to new ownership of the Gem City Bison over in Laramie. He, along with his wife, Boyd Erickson, joins us on our program. And Boyd, first off, I guess, congratulations on being the new owner of the Gem City Bison. Kind of give us a little history on how you become the new owner of this franchise.
Thank you very much for having me on, guys. We're really excited to take over the reins of this team and create something really, really nice in Laramie. It's kind of a long story how we took the reins from the Bison. It started off a few years ago. We were in Spearfish, South Dakota, visiting my parents, and we were at a Sasquatch game and just had the best time. My son and his cousin were chasing foul balls. I had a chance to have a quiet drink with my dad, enjoy some baseball, and just have a nice quiet time and really enjoy some life together. And it kind of got me thinking, okay, my wife and I, we've been working in professional sports for a decade plus each. How do we take our experience and make a shift towards college summer baseball? So it's a really cool thing to see that, and it kind of takes me back to my high school baseball days where I played American Legion baseball. And during the off season in Anchorage, Alaska, I worked out with the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, and working out with them really kind of helped me build up my game, and I got a chance to play college baseball. So thinking of that, thinking of our professional experience, and we really wanted to get involved in college summer baseball using our experience in professional sports. And so I had a phone call with the ownership group of this Spearfish Sasquatch and how we can get involved and try and potentially work with them or a team like theirs. So we talked some ideas and got around to it. He presented the idea that their league is expanding and thinking about new owners. So I first thought, no way are we going to do this. Then I really started thinking about it. Well, I play baseball across the Northwest, and we could do some, and with our experience, we could do some really fun things. And so we signed a contract with the league, and wanted to expand with them.
So, Boyd, was it a situation then with the Gym City Bison? Was that, again, with Austin Byler, Aaron Nielsen, again, former owners of the Gym City Bison last season, was it something that they just listed Bison up for sale, Independence League just reached out to you saying, hey, here's a contract, or was it something that, were they, I hate to use this terminology, but were they ousted by the league and said, hey, we need new ownership, you're kind of next in line, here you go, take care of the Gym City Bison. What was kind of the scenario on that?
Yeah, I'll get right to that. Well, my design firm did the brand work for the Bison, so I developed a relationship with those guys, visited Laramie, and it came out to be that they were looking to get out, and we were the next in line to get a new place, a new team, and so we took the opportunity and took over the team from them as we had a relationship with them, and took over the team in September.
Boyd, let's take a look here at as you took over in September, and now we got here we are in November, and before we know it, May is going to be right around the corner. As you take over this program, are you continuing on with the same staff that was on board, volunteers, or are you looking to revamp, and I'll use the word front office?
We're looking to revamp. We're starting fresh, their own group, new people that are in the area, and we're working with our connections to help build a strong team on the field with quality individuals and well-played players.
And boy, we talk about relationships, especially over there in Laramie. We know Cowboy Field, predominantly, again, operated by the Laramie Rangers, again, the American Legion team over there. Have you had a chance to talk with Rangers staff, again, Coach Lozano over there, again, talking about that you are the new, at least, owner of this team, and how we make sure that, again, we have a harmonious kind of relationship taking over at Cowboy Field coming up next season?
Exactly. Yes, I have talked with Coach Lozano. Him and I've had several conversations, and we want to be very much harmonious, just like you said, and communicating the best we can so we can share the field, we can provide benefits for their players. And like I said with my story, like how I got my role in starting college baseball, working with the summer baseball team, and we feel it could be a strong benefit for those Legion players. We're working with some former Major League Baseball scouts that we might have an event where the kids we run through the gauntlet and see what they've got and provide them knowledge on what they can do to improve their game and to advance their career. So yes, I'm working hand in hand with Aaron. Him and I have had some good talks, and we want to work really strongly together and form a really strong relationship moving forward.
Of course, the city of Laramie also handling Cowboy Field, so that kind of takes a little bit off your plate. But, Boyd, let's talk about being the owner of the Gym City Bison, what you saw throughout the course of last season that prompted you to say, hey, I want to take over this ownership, and things that you can do to improve. Because, again, college baseball during the summer sometimes is good, bad, indifferent. But also, too, you're competing with that Legion program, which has been pretty successful under Coach Lozano, keeping those butts staying over at Cowboy Field. Tell me a little bit what that you're looking at to get everybody excited for 2023.
Oh, we've really enjoyed the city. We're there last summer. Really enjoyed the city. The stadium's really nice. Got so much potential. It's a good spot. It's right on campus. The environment's amazing. A good outdoor community. We want to take that community and really reflect it on itself and provide the town for something great to do at the ballpark during the summer evenings when the family fun events become minimal. So we really want to showcase a fun experience. We want the fans to walk through the gates and be transported to an amazing place where you can come. You can hug a cool mascot. You can come high five, get autographs from players, share some laughs with your neighbors, and really have a great time. And so we're trying to bring our professional experience and our connections to really put on a great show and just provide some great value for the community.
Do you, Boyd, keep on the same? Have you offered the coaching staff that was there last year a contract to come back this season, or are you looking again further into the college ranks and some of the ball players that might be eligible to come back and play? Do you want to get that same brand returning to Laramie?
And we are looking for new coaching staff. We are in the process of talking to coaches right now to get things finalized for next year. But all the players and staff and coaching will not be on the field with us coming season.
Boyd, let's talk about the Independence League in general right now, where, again, we have the announcement of a new team joining the league. But on top of that, we also too had a recent announcement that 3 teams are leaving the league, or at least were not eligible to return, especially out in this part of the world. Casper Horseheads, Western Nebraska Pioneers, North Platte Plainsmen, all 3 of those teams owned by, again, Chuck Heeman. Again, no longer part of the league as of right now. Concern from your aspect as an owner that, again, now, again, we gain 1 team to this league, but we lose 3 that were kind of the perennial powerhouses, favorites that, again, brought a lot of eyes and ears to this league. Any concern by the loss of teams in this league for the next season?
Well, it's not ideal. It was pretty unfortunate news that we found out that the ownership group wanted to go to a different direction. But that's the kind of the beautiful part of the league is, as an ownership group, you had the opportunity to go a different direction. But it was not great news, but it was a business decision that they made, and so that's what they had to do. Felt that it was in their best interest to do, so that's what they did. But we're like you said, the league is expanding. We're looking at expanding in more places beyond Pierre, and for the 2023 and 24 season.
You know, and I'm glad that you mentioned expansion, because, again, you don't just do that at a drop of a hat. You know, it takes a year or 2 to do the expanding. Have you and the ownership groups thus far had that opportunity to sit down and kind of mark a spot out on the map where you'd like to go next? And again, too, how do you go about getting a franchise in a certain city? I know here in Cheyenne, we've had so many opportunities to bring a franchise in, but we always seem to run into one stumbling block, and that would be a stadium. Tell us a little bit about the planning stages.
Well, we're looking at just a place on the map that you can get bus to that's close to everybody. And we're talking, talk to the city, talk to the Legion, talk to business owners, feel out if there's a strong potential to grow. So a lot of connections and discussions are made, and the map's plotted out, and then you go from there and just start making phone calls. And we have individual teams within the league that we try to expand with and showcase the value of having a college summer baseball team in, and you just start making connections and showcasing your value and discussing value on the benefit of having a strong summer event space in their town.
You know, Boyd, I know last season, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of kids from our area had that opportunity to play with the Gem City Bison. And again, here in Cheyenne, we've had the success post-6 Legion, and a lot of those kids go off into the 4-year or even go off to a JC, Gillette, Casper, throw Laramie in the mix as well. Pretty good, successful programs. Is that something, too, and I don't mean to sweeten the pot, but is that something you would like to get a little more local on there, or is it the best players available to you for a summer program?
Oh, we'd love to have local players. The point of our team and our franchise is to provide value for the community, and that would to showcase the community players is an amazing opportunity. Yes, we want to win. That's our goal, but the bottom goal is to have a great place that the community can be proud of, and it's grassroots players that are on the field that where the players have looked up to the Bison and can become Bison is an amazing goal and a great cyclical goal. And so we'd love to have players that have played college baseball become part of the Bison.
Boyd, final question for me, and again, we appreciate you coming on, again, talking about becoming the new owner of the Gem City Bison as you prepare for the 2023 season. They're part of the Independence League over there in Laramie at Cowboy Field. We talk about front office change. We talk about ownership change. We talk about coaching staff and player and personnel change for the Gem City Bison. Again, something that's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I want to get your thoughts on this of, again, logoing, name, color scheme as well too. Are we seeing any change with the surname of the Gym City Bison or color scheme or even that beautiful logo that we have with this team?
No, we are going forward as is. Like I said, my design firm created this whole brand for the previous ownership group, so we're pretty proud of it, and we think it's a lot of fun. We're looking at getting some fun merchandise created from all of it, and there's some other stuff that it's still in the hopper that we worked on for these guys that we might develop and create some additional fun merchandise and gear that'll be available next year.
Well, Boyd, we want to wish you and your wife all the best, and to the Gem City Bison. You know, you can always count on us to help spread the word about the Bison, especially out at Cowboy Field. And again, congratulations on taking over the franchise. And yeah, looks, I guess you can see the forest through the trees, and everything looks promising for the Bison this season.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, very much for having me on. I look forward to working with you both in the future, and we're going to do some great things next year. If anyone wants to know more about it, please reach out to gemcitybison.com.
All right, sounds good. Boyd Erickson joined us here on 1480 KA Ray, the brand new owner of the Gem City Bison baseball in November. Thank you.
And again,
I'm all excited about it.
It was recent news that came up that again was announced about I do believe about a month or so ago that Gem City Bison were on under new ownership. We had original the 3 ownership group where one split off during the season, and then we were at least had Aaron Nielsen and also too with Austin Byler as your at least owners for the remainder of that season for the Gem City Bison. Then again, it sounded like, or at least again as Boyd alluded to, that voted out of, hey, change is needed, and again, ownership group had to go, and then he and his wife and his family took over this position. But it's something that, yes, we do wish him the best of luck. We wish the Gem City Bison the best of luck, and again, we'll be here to cover that team, bring in those coaches, again, bring in those players as we did last season to again at least encourage folks, hey, go over to Laramie, go support some collegiate baseball, and hopefully go support some local talent, as they did have a part of that team last season. But it is a little concerning right now moving forward where, again, we look towards the future, especially here in 2020, or at least going forward to 2023 and beyond. Is the Gem City Bison in this Independence League, is it going to be viable? Is it going to still be here is kind of the question mark, especially.
You don't want it to fold.
Well, and that's kind of the main concern. And I think folks there in Laramie as well, too, where, again, it seemed like a good amount of folks there in the Gem City bought into, again, supporting that franchise. Right. There was good crowds there in Laramie to go watch some summertime collegiate baseball, but it is a little concerning, especially as we do see one team moving in. I do believe, as you mentioned, Pierre, at least coming into the league, but where it was one step forward, you have 3 steps backwards. Again, losing Chuck Heeman's at least teams with the Casper Horseheads, Western Nebraska Pioneers, who again are were your defending Independence League champions, and the North Platte Plainsmen, where again not sure, and I'll get on at least the horn with Chuck Heeman to figure out what's going on with that situation now. But again, you're losing 3 franchises, and especially 2 of them that have been around since the Expedition League days, and now again starting the Independence League. There is concern now that what is going on.
I don't want to say Expedition League, Independence League, but I want to throw Mountain Collegiate Baseball League out at you. And I have a feeling, and I don't know what it is in our part of the world. And again, I use Wyoming/Nebraska. I have some reservations, even northern Colorado. Again, look back to the Mountain Collegiate Baseball League. Started out with Cheyenne Grizzlies. You had the Laramie Colts. You had the team out of Greeley, and then
Greeley Grays, Fort
Collins Foxes. Yeah. Then they expanded down to Parker, and then all of a sudden the Grays they were struggling a little bit. Then finally the Grizzlies decided to wrap things up. I think the Colts and the Foxes were the last ones standing, and again, they did not go any further after the Mountain Collegiate Baseball League. So again,
and let's make note as well, too, as we talk about previous collegiate baseball. And again, we do have collegiate baseball not only in this part of the world, but again, you go and you mentioned Colorado. They have their own collegiate baseball as well, too, in their league. And again, I forget the name of the league, but again, it does have a team.
Rocky Mountain or something.
Something like that. But again, it features, again, a team out of northern Colorado, again, with I do believe the Owls. Grand Junction's a part of that. Again, you have pretty much centralized Colorado teams a part of that collegiate league as well, where, again, original thought from both the Expedition and the Independence League was stake ground here in Cheyenne and then move south into Colorado. Well, it seems like Colorado's already advanced past them and said, we're just going to do our own thing.
Right.
But like I said, again, for this league, including the Independence League and for the Gym City Bison, which again, yes, we want that success because again, here in Cheyenne, would love to have that collegiate baseball team or at least an option for, again, folks here to stay within the Cap City to, again, spend dollars here and get those teams and that revenue in. But it is concerning where now you lose Casper, which again was having, again, it was having solid success. Again, folks were supporting that franchise up there.
Gehring,
so again,
yeah.
Gehring was one of the top. North Platte was getting there as well too. Again, that was a new, at least team along with the Gym City Bison from last season. But you're losing 3 franchises as part of this league that were good revenue getters for the league in general. And
Well,
again, some top teams, including Western Nebraska.
You know, obviously Chuck Heeman's doing something right as far as the promotion of the program. So, again, don't know what happened with the previous ownership group over in Laramie. And, again, we're not getting a lot of information on it. Obviously, with Boyd, he's kind of gone from the ground up on this. Again,
He's got to start anew, yeah.
Yeah, but he's gone from being a fan, observing what was going on, and then looking into the marketing part, and then, oh, wow, what's going on here? And then next thing you know, he's ownership.
Yeah.
So, again, he's looked at all of the phases to become an owner. Now, again.
And again, he's an owner in other business ventures as well, too.
But
so
also
again, yeah.
in Laramie, and this is the thing, too, that it could be a struggle for him. And this is what we saw with the Grizzlies before they wrapped up their season. You can't make anything when you have 50 to 100 people in the stands.
Yeah.
You got to have a good solid base of about 250 people plus coming out and watching these ball games. We saw it in Gehring the times that we went up there. There was more. There was over 500 fans there, even when they had to block off seats because coming out of the pandemic, they still had a good showing of fans. And again, you got to sell it to Laramie. You got to sell it to Cheyenne and the surrounding area. So again, you got to get people in Laramie and Albany County excited because you're only going to have 2 counties pretty much supporting this team. And again, he's going to have to be doing a lot of carnival barking, a lot of promotions, and again too, the product on the field. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion on this, I think it's going to have more than just 1 or 2 local talents. You're going to have about a handful of talent out there.
Yeah.
Because, again, the programs around this state are pretty doggone good for Legion baseball.
But again, you got to sell yourself as a team, though, to get those potential recruits or, again, that talent to come and go play summer collegiate baseball with your team where, again, that's going to be the issue as well, too, is how do you garner, again. It's not like, again, Cheyenne Post 6 athletes are begging to play summer collegiate baseball. It's something that, again, you're going to have to work with them, Gillette Rough Riders, with the Laramie Rangers, with Casper Oilers, if you go that way. Yeah, without a doubt. Again, we've seen that with LCCC. We saw that with the Stampede, with the Grizzlies, with whoever, again, of these non-namesake, again, non-high school teams. Again, in order to survive, especially in this part of the world, yes, you need local talents. You need local names.
You're not going to get talents from UCLA, USC, Arizona, go to Stanford. You're not going to get that talent. You're going to get some Mountain West talent. You're going to get some lower conferences in baseball. But again, the major conferences that are almost in the College World Series, you're not going to see that talent coming to these expedition leagues or the mountain or this Independence League. But my point is, though, I think you look at the talent pool here statewide, and including Nebraska as well, and maybe dip into Utah and look at that kind of local talent, regional talent, and start building your team around that by getting a team maybe from or a talent from Tennessee, whatever.
And again, to be determined on what that team's going to look like in 2023. But again, the main crux of the conversation right now with the Gym City Bison, again, it's Gym City Bison version 2 as of right now with new ownership. And again, it's retooling from the ground up. Absolutely, it is concerning again with the state of the league right now. We're again losing 3 of those namesakes out of the league. Again, you do gain with Pierre but it is something that, again, new ownership over there in Laramie, where, again, thankfully he's had a chance to, again, and I do believe, if I recently saw, again, Boyd and his family was in Laramie over the past weekend. I had a chance to, again, be in Laramie. Again, I think they spoke at the College of Business over there in the University of Wyoming. But, again, you now have to, again, start from anew, basically, again, introduce yourself and rebuild relationships and say, hey, with the Legion, with the city, with the advertisers out there, with even season ticket holders, and also, too, let's not at least forget host families that basically say, hey, yes, change of ownership has happened, but here's what I can guarantee, or here's where I can say, hey, the future is not as bleak and as dim as you might think. And I think that's, that's kind of the issue right now for Boyd Erickson, and not knowing his timeline right now, but it's something where you kind of got to shake hands and you got to, again, you got to reintroduce yourself, and again, reassure folks out there that this is a franchise that's not going away anytime soon.
You go back to those that were there first and foremost for you, and like you said, reintroduce yourself. But also, too, here's a situation that kind of boggles my mind right now, and I know Boyd will get that all taken care of over there in Laramie. And again, Laramie, like Cheyenne, always has some great sponsorship opportunities, and hopefully those that were with the Gem City Bison will continue on. But let me throw this at you. I'm kind of concerned about the three teams stepping out of this Independence League. And again, too, when we talked with Chuck Heeman, who's the owner of those three teams that stepped away, remember he told us, well, he had problems with the Expedition League. That's why he left. And again, he's kind of the centerpiece of this Independence League, and all of a sudden now he's got problems with the Independence League, and he walks away from this. I mean, I'm kind of confused on, and I don't want to use the word stability, but I'm kind of confused on why he's packing up his teams and moved over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get those answers. I'll reach out to him to see about, if not, he can join us next week's show or the week after, again, sometime soon to discuss the situation. But, yeah, it is a little concerning right now, again, what this means for the future of the Independence League. And hopefully, again, it's nothing too serious, and curious to see what happens with those three franchises, which, again, involve here in the state of Wyoming with, again, the Casper Horseheads, and nearby over in Scotts Bluff with the Western Nebraska Pioneers. So very interested to see, and hopefully we'll get those answers coming up, again, from Chuck Heeman at a point in time when, again, he is available to at least come on and talk about the situation with him and the Independence League.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up the Pro Show for today. Hey, guess what? No sports this weekend. Holy cow, we are footballists this weekend.
No sports until, again, my schedule as of right now, which, again, we'll release the basketball schedule upcoming soon as I get a few games kind of figured out, or, again, there was a couple to be determines of opponents for a few of our high schools. So, again, I need to get that ironed out, but anticipate that our first contest will be coming up around December 15th, the weekend of December 15th with Cheyenne Central, as they'll be a part of the Greeley Central tournament down in Greeley once again. But again, opponents to be determined. But our schedule, broadcast schedule, is going to be released here hopefully soon. So look forward on our various social media sites. Again, 1480 K-Ray's Facebook page, the Pro Show's Facebook page, and also too on 1480KRay.com. Again, same with the website as well too. Again, do apologize. We're having issues with our, at least, I don't know what to describe them, but again, the host company, Jub. Again, it seems like they're having issues. So both our websites, K-Ray and KYY's website, are having little issues, and it's had for about a month or so now as they're dealing with whatever technical problems going on in the back end. So hopefully they can get that figured out soon.
Or they're rebuilding it. Who knows?
I don't know.
All right, well, anyway, that's going to wrap up our program for today. We'll be back at it Monday morning as we'll come back with K-Ray Reports, a week in review. So for Nick Proietti, I'm Larry Proietti. Have an enjoyable Tuesday afternoon. Take care. Bye.